Hi, good to have you back. So we're going to do part 2 of how to start a digital marketing agency in 2018. And today's topic, we've only got a small blackboard, so we're going to have to do this in 2 sections, but we're going to cover how to find and approach clients. Now this is obviously very important because the sales part of it is what's going to decide how much money you make and how fast you can get going forwards. Right. So the first thing is networking. Try to use your family or friends to bring you into contact with people who have got business who could be looking for such a service. Otherwise, you can also go on social media, you can go on platforms like LinkedIn, you can, become connections and get working that way. But it's very important to really go through the networking process and to see what you've got at hand, because they are people that you don't really need to convince. The second part is do some reverse engineering on Google. So what you do is you find a business that you want. Say if it's a dentist, we're going to go against dentists later, but if whatever business, if it's roofers or if it's plumbers, right, you just go in there and you tap plumbers and then in your town, and then you reverse engineer. So instead of looking at page 1, the people that you don't want because they're already there, go to page 10, go to page 12 and have a look at the plumbers and the roofers who are actually listed on there, and then start working backwards, because you've got a contact point and you can say, listen guys, you're on a low page, you're never going to get seen there, and we're going to get you right, we're going to get you boosted up. So that's the next thing. So the other thing is, right, new registrations, company registrations. Now, if you think about it, in every town, in every country, you've got, like in England we have like a company's house, in Germany they've got a Handelsregister, and I think in the States they use the Chamber of Commerce. That's where new companies are registered, or you can find out who's on the register. Now, new companies need websites, new companies need promotion. They've usually got a budget to get started, and they've never been there before. So you've got the advantage of that, you can pick them up and take them forwards. You have a good approach. Obviously other people are doing this as well, so you've got to be a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper, make sure that you're on the ball. Get on your bike, car, feet, that's obvious, right? You just go around your local area, probably walking, depends where you are in this world of course. If you're in a big city, it's easier by foot, by your bike. Driving is not always easy because you can't always park the car. And just look at the shops, just look at the businesses, and take photos, even go in and approach them if you have to, right? But first of all, just get a list of who you can possibly approach, come back, Google it, go online to see what kind of presence they've got in this online market, and then we can work it out if there's any leverage in that type of business. So like I say, you've really got to get out there and see what's happening, and you can do it just in your local vicinity. You don't have to travel to the other end of town, and that'd be a good starting point as well. The next is local newspapers, like this one that we've got here. You can see this is actually a German newspaper, but there's like estate agents there, and what they're doing is they advertise their properties or whatever they've got there, and they leave their email addresses, their websites, their business, and you can go and have a look to see how they're performing online. If they're advertising in the newspaper, then obviously they've got money and they can afford to pay for some search engine optimization. Online platforms like Groupon, like Amazon, like eBay. Again, what you do there, you go into Groupon, you just tap in your local vicinity. If you're in New York, you just tap in New York, right? And then you'll get all the offers coming before you in New York, where companies are trying to fill in their spaces, trying to sell online at massive discounted prices. It might be a hairdresser giving 50% away, say, instead of $50, $25 to get your hair cut, right? The thing is, what they're trying to do is trying to fill in the gaps and trying to get some kind of presence. They're proving by discounting that, first of all, they're willing to drop their prices. They're also showing you that they've actually struggling to fill these gaps themselves. That's why they're having to discount. They're the perfect approach, because you tell them in 3 to 6 months, guys, listen, we can be a long way ahead. SEO is the future. SEO is going to get you up there, and you're never going to go back down once you're up. So, you know, again, it's not an hard convince if you can actually see them on places like Groupon, and you can like, you know, you can also look in eBay and you can also look in Amazon, even though you're probably going to get less there, but there you go. So we filled up our whiteboard again, and now we're going to carry on with it. Leave the flyer. Go visit when you're actually in these places, in these shops, in these restaurants, in these bureaus, whatever they are, right? Go in, ask for an appointment, but leave a flyer at least. A flyer is better than a business card, because a business card, all it's got is your name on it. A flyer actually tells them what you do. Obviously, if you go into the blocker on the desk, you might not get to the horse's mouth, so to say. But again, you know, at least give it a try. Send out researched emails. Now, researched emails are ones that you've actually looked at the company and you've actually designed an email around that sales pitch on them. So you're sort of thinking to yourself, right, this is, you know, a company that's quite low on Google. This is a company that's got problems with the website. This is a company that, so you can actually point a few things out within your email. But again, keep it short, to the point. Don't make it, you know, make it complicated so that they are reading too long. You can obviously put something below your signature, and that will, you know, if they want to read on, or just link back to your website, or link to some kind of social media, or any kind of profile that you've got of yourself. Right, so paying it forward. Now this is very important to get started. Just imagine you've got nobody, right? You've got no contacts, you've got nothing. Now if you've got an offer to do something for free for people, you can say pick up my cost if I've got any costs. But other than that, what you can do is you can at least give them a month for free, get them started, and if they are, you know, seeing results and seeing what you're doing, then maybe you can ask for some money after that. But the point is, you're going to get a reference from them. These are references that you can show within your social media. You can show people when you go knocking on doors. You can show people on your websites. It doesn't matter, you know, this is what you've got to agree for doing something. You're doing something for them, they're doing something for you, and of course they're a good contact as well. So again, they could get you, you know, further interested parties through contacts. It's like a way of networking. You've got to get in the water before you can learn to swim. So cold calling. Now this is obviously a difficult one. Most people don't like picking up the phone. You know, you've had these phone calls yourself when people have been trying to sell you stuff on the phone. So, you know, you've obviously got to find a way to moderate it. You've got to say, I'm from this company, could I speak to somebody about, or can I make an appointment? Can I show you how I'm going to improve your website, or I'm going to get you more customers, right? You know, no resource, no fees, right? I'm just going to help you get to a better level. If you can give me an appointment, give me 15-20 minutes of your time, then we'll come round and we'll talk about it, right? So that's what you're trying to do with a cold call. So you make a cold call like a lukewarm call, so to say, right? Now this is one that always gets me. This is a very false concept. If you look at a lot of these tutorials online, you know, on YouTube, they always say, you know, like you see the Tai Lopez, go and get yourself a dentist, right? They'll pay a lot of money, it's a high income, and so they're going to pay more. But the fact of the matter is, everybody's chasing these people, right? And these people have got the money to go to proper companies. So again, if you're starting out, they're going to be quite a big fish for you to land. We would suggest that, you know, you wait until they come to you later, or we wait until you're in a position to sort of proceed, right? So, like I say, we're using that as a false concept. Look for something a little bit different. Look for roofers, look for plumbers, look for something in the building industry. They also make big money for, you know, different jobs that they're doing. So again, but they're less used, they're easy to promote, and they are also good keywords to pick up on. So just bear that in mind. Now, what we mentioned that we are trying to stay away from spammy emails. This is very important, right? If you start just picking up an email list, sending everybody the same email, nobody's going to respond. Your return rate is going to be 0, and those that do answer are going to be pretty angry with you anyway and say, no, piss off, go away, you know, we don't want to speak with you, right? So, you know, so honestly, these cold calling emails, we get 50 in our box every day. Stay well away from them. So what we're going to suggest with you now is, when you do emails, if you move on to this side of the board, you know, research them. We've already picked up on that, right? Don't sell yourself or your business. just tell them what you've seen, what's going to help them to get to a better shape, to a better place. How are you going to make them money? Don't speak about yourself. Don't say, we're the best, we're this, we're that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Right? Just try to keep it simple and talk to them in a way that they, like you're listening, right? Don't talk money on the first occasion. Honestly, it's a dirty word. Don't put in any emails unless you're asked. Right, don't even mention it. That's something that you can come back on later. You've got to warm them to the idea first, and then you can start selling later, right? Don't get technical or too technical, because when you start talking too technical, you probably find them falling asleep. If you fall asleep, they're not going to buy anything. Simple as that, right? So, you can put the technical stuff down on paper, you can show them what you're going to do, you can walk it through it when you've got to the stage of literally agreeing a contract, right? If you can connect first over Twitter, LinkedIn, something like that, anywhere where you can get a human contact and a name, right, you can probably be friendly to them for a few weeks first and then approach them afterwards, right, because that sort of gives you some kind of relationship to start it all, and again, it's a good way to proceed, right. Check that you write to the correct email, avoid writing to the company email, the block if you can find the owner's name on it, like Dave@hairsalon.com, then you write to him. Don't write to the info address, right? Try to approach the proper person, right? Competitor research before you actually go into the meeting, right, or even send them these mails, right. Make sure that you understand what their competition is all about, right, and how you're going to get them from down at the bottom to near the top, because it's much easier. If you're fighting for lawyers, you're going to need masses and masses of money behind you, because keywords are ridiculously expensive and ridiculously hard to promote. But again, I'm saying just do a little bit of research before you go into the meeting. It'll give you something to talk about, and it will let you understand their business a little bit better, yeah? So tell them why that they need SEO. Now the advantage of that, of course, is that over a period of time, 6 months down the line, they're not going to need much more SEO, because they're going to be well known, they're going to be right up in the rankings, they're going to be on the first page, they're going to be, it obviously depends on how many pages they've got, it depends on a lot of scenarios, but you're going to see long-term results in a relatively short space of time without keep paying, right? So make the email personal, if you can, say, if you've actually spoke to the person before, then he's a football fan, you say, how Dave, that was a pretty weird World Cup, wasn't it? Who would have expected Croatia to be in the final, etc, etc, and then you can move on. Hey, listen, if you want, we'll meet up. I want to discuss with you about your website, what I can do for you to try to get you more business. They might be interested. He'll have a beer with you, and then you see if you can talk him into it, right? And of course, in any email, get to the point. Don't beat about the bush. If you bore them too long, they're going to be asleep. They're not going to respond to you. They're going to think you're a waste of time. And yeah, so that's basically it. What we're going to do next, we're going to keep these videos relatively short, like I say, and we're going to do it like a course, so it's like the old procedure. And the next one's going to be actually, how you talk to the customer when you actually go to meet them, because you've got to bring the dialogue and everything over the right way. And then after that, we're going to do pricing and so on. Then we'll start teaching you about the search engine optimization stuff. So take care, thanks, bye bye, see you soon.